In this video, we're going to continue to examine the make components command involving multi-body parts inside of Inventor. So thus far, we have created a multi-body part file, turned that into an assembly based on what new solids need to be new IPT files. And we have the assembly created here, everything's grounded together, and we want to take a look at the ability to update the entire assembly based on simple changes made to the originating multi-body file. So if I go back over to the make components 2 IPT, which in turn has created parts for the make components 2 IAM, both in our working files directory, on the multi-body file, I'm going to come in here and start making some changes. So this is one of the greatest powers of multi-body design. You can effect change on the entire design simply by updating one or two elements of your originating file. So here I'll change my side panel height in my parameters to 70. I'll change my box width to 50. Change my depth to 150. And I'm also going to change the groove quantities to 3. And just to make sure I have enough room, I'm going to go 275 on box width. Just make it a little bit longer. I'll choose Done. I'm going to turn off the visibility of lid 2. Now, if you don't want to keep coming in here and finding it in your tree like I just did, instead what you could do is hold down Shift and right-click and go to Body Priority. You can then highlight an entire body, right-click on that, and turn off visibility through the graphics window. Shift and right-click again will get you back to faces and edges. Here you can see I updated my groove quantity, however, I still only have 2 grooves. So this was based on the extrusion that created the cut. So let me come in here and modify that. You can see it did create a third rectangle. I just need to include that with my profile. So there's my third groove cut. Now I'll turn the lid back on, and for this I do need to go over to the browser and turn visibility back on. So I've made some changes to this multi-body file. If you think about the traditional ways of modeling, if you think about this in the traditional modeling sense, you would have had to change multiple IPT files to exact the same type of change that I just did. Now if I go over to the assembly, the make components 2 IAM, it looks like nothing has changed, nothing is updated. Well, it's waiting for me to force the update. If I go to my quick access toolbar at the top of the screen, there is a lightning bolt highlighted. When I select that, it'll process all those changes to my multi-body file, therefore updating the derived components which make up these individual part files. Now the next thing I want to do is make additional dividers. So I will turn off the visibility of the lid component, and inside here I can find the individual dividers. I'm going to do a pattern command inside the assembly on the divider component. I'm going to create a directional reference for rectangular to be in the X direction. I'm going to update this to 3. Now, I don't have my information in here for the spacing. However, I could create a parameter in here that's linked to the original multi-body file and have that update as well. I know what the value was. It was 50 millimeters. So even though this is an inch file, it's an inch assembly, then I can actually put in the millimeter value as well. I'll choose OK. And there's my quantity 3 dividers. So that will show up appropriately in my bill of material. I'll turn on the visibility of my lid 2 component again. And here is my updated assembly, all sized appropriately, correct amount of occurrences in there. My next step would be to start creating fastening methods, whether it be screws or nails, the holes associated to them, in order to really start fabricating this. Unless you like glue, maybe if you're going to glue this all together, but you get the idea. We want to take our next steps in a more traditional fashion of going through the individual part files.